Your parents had a deal. Work hard, get a degree, buy a house, raise a family, retire at 65. That was the agreement. That was the American dream. Nobody told you the deal expired. In 1950, the average American family could buy a house for 2.5 times their annual income. Today, 5 times. And that's the national average. Don't even ask about California. But here's what's really going on, and it goes way deeper than housing prices. By the end of this video, I'm going to show you exactly what replaced the American dream, what the people who are actually winning are doing differently, and why 67% of young Americans still believe it's possible, just not the way you've been told. Let's get into it. Let's go back to 1950 for a second, because to understand what broke, you need to understand what it looked like when it worked. The average new house cost $10,000, a new car $1,750, and the median family income was $4,000 a year. Do the math. A house costs 2.5 times what a family made annually. One income, one breadwinner, the whole family covered. And here's the part that really hits. Only 33% of women were in the workforce. Not just because of discrimination, but because a single income was genuinely enough to build a middle-class life. The system worked. Now let's talk about 2026. The average new house is $445,000. Median household income is $89,000. That's a price-to-income ratio of 5 times. And here's the detail that changes everything. That $89,000 is household income, not one person, 2 people, both working full-time. In 1950, one income built the dream. In 2026, 2 incomes can barely afford the down payment. And you'd think, okay, prices went up, but so did everything else. Wages caught up, right? Here's where it gets dark. They didn't. March 2026. The Consumer Price Index jumped to 3.3% year over year. Sounds manageable, right? Here's what's inside that number. Energy costs rose 10.9% in a single month. Gasoline alone jumped 21.2% in March. Why? Because the U.S.-Israel-Iran conflict disrupted the Strait of Hormuz, which carries about 20% of the world's oil supply. Oil prices surged past $120 a barrel within weeks, and U.S. gas prices hit $4 a gallon by the end of March, a 30% jump in under 60 days. Now here's the part that doesn't make headlines. Your wages didn't keep up. Nominal wages grew 3.5%, but real wages, what your money actually buys, declined 0.91% in a single month. You got a raise, and you got poorer. That's not a crisis on paper. That's just normal life in 2026. And here's where the housing market does something truly cruel. You'd think if wages are stagnating, home prices should fall. They're not. And the reason is one of the most trapped situations the housing market has ever seen. During the pandemic, millions of Americans locked in mortgage rates below 3%. Today, rates are above 6%. So homeowners are stuck. Not because they can't sell, but because selling means buying again at double the interest rate. So they don't move. Inventory stays low, prices stay high, and first-time buyers get squeezed from both sides. The result? The average first-time homebuyer age has jumped from 28 in the early 1990s to 40 in 2026. That's 12 years of lost wealth building, not a personal failure, a structural one. But housing is just one piece. Debt is piling up in the background. Total credit card debt hit $1.277 trillion. Auto loans reached $1.67 trillion. Now make it personal. Gen Z carries about $34,000. Millennials, $132,000. A millennial holding that much debt at today's interest rates isn't building wealth. They're paying the entry fee just to stay in the game. And here's the truth nobody says out loud. The American dream was never built on income alone. It was built on assets. Your grandparents didn't get rich just by saving. They got rich because they bought assets like homes that appreciated massively over time. That appreciation did more for their net worth than decades of saving ever could. But your generation, you don't get easy access to that asset. And without something growing while you sleep, income alone almost never gets you there. Now it gets worse. Just as the old path is closing, AI is reshaping the job market. Not factory jobs this time, white-collar entry-level jobs. Customer service, billing, junior consultants, even coders. The exact roles new graduates rely on to start their careers are being automated first. And the cruelest part? Those jobs weren't just income. They were the training ground, the ladders being pulled up. So now we have housing you can't afford, debt you can't escape, and jobs being automated. It would be reasonable to think the American dream is over, but something unexpected is happening. Over the next 25 years, $124 trillion in assets will transfer from older generations to younger ones. For those who inherit that wealth, everything changes. They bypass high interest rates. They enter markets with advantages others don't have. They're not chasing the dream, they're inheriting it. For everyone else, the gap between asset owners and non-owners is about to widen permanently. The American dream isn't dying, it's becoming hereditary. And yet 67% of younger Americans still believe it's achievable. Not because they're naive, but because they've redefined it. The new dream is financial independence, flexibility, and freedom, not just owning a house. What actually works now? Investing early, geographic arbitrage, and building skills AI can't replace. The new status symbol isn't luxury, it's freedom. Here's the truth. The old version of the American dream, one income, one house, one company for life, is mathematically over for most people. But the dream itself isn't gone. It evolved. Less about owning things, more about owning time. Less about location, more about flexibility. Less about job security, more about being irreplaceable. The question isn't whether the dream is alive. The question is whether you're still chasing the version that expired. If this changed how you see things, share it with someone still following the old map. And if you want to see what actually works today, that video is next. See you there.